Hello, welcome, Cabbage here. In New Replicant, let's look at ending B. I forgot, sadly, to record the part where the Shadow Lord is talking to Yona before these two appear. But he's saying that his body is coming. And now that we have read the Gestalt report, we can guess that the Shadow Lord was the first Gestalt, a human kind of turned into a shade so that they would be immune to the white chlorination sickness. And then replicants were created to kind of house the bodies, and then the consciousness, the ascensions that were kind of stored or protected in the shades could then be transferred to the replicants and kind of have their bodies restored, and then have the protection from the white chlorination sickness. I am saying this before I release the other video, so maybe there's somebody in the comments that's telling me what's actually going on, but as of now, that's my understanding. But here, I thought this was super interesting. It's been kind of leading up to this, but Kainé, she's talking to the shade that has invaded her body. And the shade would kind of feed off of like hate and violence and revenge. And Kainé was also living off of that. But then through knowing the protagonist and Emil, she has learned sympathy and other positive feelings. And that line, that really got me. But the protagonist accepting Kainé as she is matters very much to her. And so to repay that, she will do anything for him. She'll become his sword, which she has been doing all game. And yeah, forgiveness, that's a topic that I also want to talk about in relation to Nier reincarnation. I also feel like it's relevant to Automata too. Alright, but here again, we got the scene where the protagonist goes to her sister, but she doesn't recognize him. But now, again, having read the Gestalt report, we understand that there is another being in Yona. It might be, or I think it is, the human Yona that was turned into a Gestalt, into a shade. Right, there are hours to begin with. But the human shade sentience that went into this Yona replicant body, she can still sense the original, or like, she can sense the sentience that kind of grew or was gained organically. The Yona that we know from this current time. And then the original human Yona, she wants to kind of sacrifice herself for the good of the Yona that we are trying to save, with the protagonist here. As I understand it, anyway. I was actually a little surprised. I was expecting like more lines or more revelation from Shadow Lord. But he's actually not saying too much. But I guess he said enough. Yeah, I don't know what to do or think, maybe? This is actually a tough question. Like, who is real? Who is deserving of these bodies, you know? On the one hand, you have the humans that are, you know, preserving their memories and sentience. But on the other hand, you have kind of new life in the replicants. And based on, you know, the conversations that we've seen between the protagonist and others, he exhibits, you know, what I consider human, which is reasoning, the ability to learn and grow and change. So, like, who's real? Who's more deserving? It's kind of impossible to say. I've read a lot of science fiction in my day. I've never come across something like this, although maybe Blade Runner has a little bit of this. Yeah, very interesting question. Especially now with the rise of AI. You know, we're not anywhere near, you know, AI beings replacing humans, but it's kind of getting started. And like, could AI be considered, you know, the next evolution of mankind? Alright, anyway. So I guess we're looking at ending B here. We got the Shadow Lord lamenting that he wasn't able to save Yona. And out of nowhere, we get this flashback to the beginning of the game, 1,000 years ago. But again, thinking about the Gestalt report, maybe this is the original here, the original protagonist. The one that the Gestalt experiment was done on initially as a test to try to save all of humanity. And so these two that we're seeing here, they are the ones that we saw in that warehouse with the bed. 1,000 years later. It's crazy. And we see a young version of the protagonist, along with all the bosses that we defeated along the way. And brother and sister meet in the afterlife. So I guess this is a happy ending for them, maybe? Alright, and post-credit scene. It's the ML head. And he's still alive. And now that I think about it, when we meet Emil in Automata, first time it was just a head. And then later, it's like part of a truck. The truck is like driving around. I was wondering like why there was a truck with an Emil head instead of like with a body, you know, that we saw with the Replicant collaboration in Reincarnation. But I guess this explains it. He can just be a head. And that makes me wonder if the Emil that we see in Automata is this one. So what is that, 10,000 years later? That's insane. And then Emil says that he's got stuff to do. So both Kainé and Emil say they have stuff to do beyond this ending. I wonder if we're going to get it later. And here it's saying that I can make a final decision to get a new ending. And I know what to do in order to get the C ending before the D ending. I have to answer yes, and then later answer no. So I think I'm set. And I think that's a good place to stop. I'm glad I was able to get this far during the weekend. I want to take a little break from the game because I don't want to play the same levels and bosses yet again. So maybe this week I'll take a break from a Replicant and I'll show the endings C, D, and E later. I'll do something else this week. Okay, thanks for watching and we'll see you again. Take care.